Hi everyone, this video is on food hygiene and diseases transmitted through food and water. In this video, you will learn the definition of food hygiene, agents that cause foodborne illnesses and how to protect yourself from them. What illnesses are transmitted through food and water? How can food be protected from these pathogens? The obligations of governments, food manufacturers, and consumers to uphold food safety, and what laws are in place to safeguard food against disease-causing agents? You know what hygiene is. It is conditions or practices conducive to maintaining health and preventing diseases through cleanliness. In other words, it is maintaining a level of cleanliness that upholds health and prevents diseases. This applies to persons, which is called personal hygiene, the environment, equipment and utensils used in the preparation of food, food handling, processing, etc. So, food hygiene refers to the practices and conditions necessary to ensure food is safe for human consumption by preventing contamination and foodborne illnesses. Food hygiene encompasses practices throughout the supply chain. That is, handling, transporting, storing, manufacturing and preparation of food, in a way that prevents foodborne illnesses. We will look at the magnitude of the problem. How safe is our food? These statistics reflect approximately 600 million people worldwide are affected by food-related diseases every year, and approximately 400,000 of them die. According to local statistics, around 300,000 people are admitted to hospitals in Sri Lanka each year, with diseases of the gastrointestinal tract accounting for 6.2% of all admissions. Approximately 2,400 of these people die, accounting for 5.6% of all fatalities. Next, we will see who the culprits are, or disease-causing agents that could enter our body through food. They are biological agents such as bacteria and viruses, chemical agents, heavy metals, and radiation. All these can enter our body through food or water. We will next examine the biological agents in more detail. Biological agents include bacteria, viruses, protozoa and parasites, and fungi. Let's look at bacteria first. The following list describes bacterial infections that can be transmitted through food and water. Salmonellosis, caused by Salmonella bacteria, often found in raw or undercooked poultry, eggs, and dairy products. Shigellosis, caused by Shigella bacteria, often transmitted through contaminated food and water. Escherichia coli, infections. Some strains of E. coli can cause severe illness, particularly hemolytic uremic syndrome, often linked to unhygienic food habits and uncooked meat. Cholera, caused by Vibrio cholerae found in contaminated water and food. Listeriosis, caused by Listeria monocytogenes bacteria, which can contaminate ready-to-eat foods like cheeses and unpasteurized milk. Campylobacteriosis, caused by Campylobacter bacteria, commonly found in raw or undercooked poultry, and can also be transmitted through contaminated water. Botulism, a rare but serious illness caused by the Clostridium botulinum bacterium, which produces a potent toxin. It's often associated with improperly canned foods. So, that's bacteria. Next, viral infections that can be transmitted through food and water. They are, norovirus, causes gastroenteritis, vomiting and diarrhea, often spread through contaminated food and water. Rotavirus, it is a common cause of severe diarrhea, particularly in children. Hepatitis A, a viral infection that can cause liver inflammation, often transmitted through contaminated food and water. What about the parasites that could enter your body through food and water and cause diseases? Multicellular parasites are known as worms, while single-celled parasites like amoeba are known as protozoa. 4 types of worms can enter our bodies through food and water. They are roundworm or Ascaris lumbricoides, hookworm, or Ancylostoma duodenale. Only some species of this parasite enter our body through food. Then, pinworm or Enterobius vermicularis, and tapeworm or Taenia solium, which is contracted by eating undercooked pork. This list shows protozoa, or single-celled parasites, that invade humans through food or water and cause illnesses. These illnesses are amoebiasis, caused by amoeba. Symptoms include nausea, diarrhea, weight loss, and occasional fever. Giardiasis, caused by Giardia lamblia, often transmitted through contaminated water and food. Toxoplasmosis, caused by the Toxoplasma gondii, often transmitted through undercooked meat, contaminated soil, and contact with infected cat feces. Cryptosporidiosis, caused by Cryptosporidium parasites, commonly found in contaminated water and food. Coming to fungi, fungi can cause diseases in two ways, that is, releasing toxins, such as aflatoxin, patulin etc., which are known carcinogens. Or causing infections, such as oral thrush or Candida albicans infection, particularly in immunocompromised individuals. How do these pathogens, bacteria, viruses, protozoa, and fungi get into the body via food? That is, through food consumed raw without washing. Through water that is used for drinking or food preparation, if it is contaminated. Through food preparation equipment. Pathogens can grow in the remaining food particles if they are not thoroughly cleaned after use. Keeping cooked food in the atmosphere for an extended period. There again, pathogens can grow in the food over time. Through flies, as the pathogens they carry on their feet have the potential to contaminate food. Touching food with unclean hands which contaminate food. Preparing food in unhygienic places carries a greater risk of food being contaminated. Storing raw and cooked foods together may cause the pathogens in the raw food to contaminate the cooked food. Therefore, if you avoid these things, you can protect yourself from these pathogens. So to protect ourselves from pathogens, wash fruits and vegetables that are eaten raw thoroughly before eating. Use only clean water for food preparation. Use boiled water or properly purified water for drinking. Clean food preparation equipment and utensils thoroughly after use. Cooked food should never be left outside for longer than 4 hours. Before consuming, reheat cooked food that has been refrigerated. Protect cooked food from flies. Wash your hands with soap after using the toilet, before preparing food, and before touching cooked food. In restaurants, food handlers should use the tongs to serve food. Keep food preparation areas clean. Store cooked and raw foods separately in the refrigerator. That's about biological agents, and now we'll move on to chemical agents that can cause illness and are found in food. Two types of chemicals can enter our systems through the food we eat. They are naturally occurring and synthetic. Naturally occurring toxins can come through, some harmful toxins in mushrooms, then aflatoxin, a fungal toxin, may come through contaminated grains, peanuts, milk, chili, or low-quality coconut oil. Marine biotoxins are found in some fish, shellfish, and crustaceans. Botulinum can be detected in foods that have been improperly canned. Synthetic chemicals include pesticides and herbicides. Industrial chemicals such as perfluoroalkyl and polyfluoroalkyl substances or PFS that are discharged into the environment and then make their way into the food chain. Harmful chemicals in plastics, such as phthalates, can enter our food through direct contact or through the environment. Food additives, even though they are safe when taken in the recommended quantities, overuse might be harmful. Both natural and man-made toxins can result in either acute poisoning, which can occasionally be fatal, or chronic poisoning, which can vary and include neurological, nephrological, malignant, and numerous other disorders, depending on the toxin, exposure level, and duration. We were talking about chemical agents, and now we'll discuss heavy metals and radiation, which may be found in food and can cause illness. The four main heavy metals that can contaminate food are arsenic, cadmium, lead, and mercury. Arsenic contamination can be found in rice, while chocolate, seaweed, and certain green vegetables may contain cadmium. Lead contamination is observed in vegetables and some spices. Fish and shellfish, especially large fish, contain mercury. Exposure to high levels of heavy metals can cause neurological damage, kidney damage, malignancies, and issues with reproductive organs. Contamination of food by radiation is rare and usually limited to foods cultivated or fish harvested in radiation-contaminated areas or in specific geological settings. Next, we will discuss, how can the consumers be protected against the harmful effects of chemicals, heavy metals, and radiation that can enter their bodies through food. The responsibility of safeguarding our food against harmful agents mostly rests with governments or policymakers, as well as food producers and manufacturers, and to a lesser extent, consumers. Let's look at the responsibility of governments and policymakers. What could they do? Firstly, they have to introduce laws and standards to ensure the safety of food. These should be to control environmental pollution, ensure food safety through food standards, regulate food manufacturers, distributors, and vendors to ensure food safety. Secondly, put in place education campaigns and training programs for food manufacturers, distributors, food handlers, and vendors on maintaining hygienic practices throughout the food supply chain. Policymakers shall implement robust and efficient border control procedures to prevent substandard food from entering the country. They need to create testing facilities and conduct regular testing, monitoring, supervision, and take corrective actions to ensure food safety. Now let's look at the food producers' or farmers' responsibility. They play a vital role in producing food for the people. They can contribute to food safety by using only certified and safe fertilizers, following guidelines when using weedicides and pesticides, adopting good agricultural practices, using safe, uncontaminated feeds for animals, not using veterinary medicines and other veterinary products indiscriminately, vaccinating animals against common diseases. The food industry is also responsible for protecting food from harmful substances. They need to use good quality raw materials and food additives in manufacturing facilities. Introduce in-house testing facilities to ensure the food they produce is safe. Train the staff on good hygiene techniques, among others. Obtain accreditation for the facility, which is a certification that the food they produce is safe. Consumer obligations. Consumers, too, have an obligation towards protecting themselves from toxins, heavy metals, and radiation. As consumers, what steps can you take? Keep in mind to buy food from reputable vendors and manufacturers. How could you identify them? Sometimes in the food package, you may find these certifications such as ISO, GMP, or HACCP of their production facility. This is an indication that their products are manufactured under a standard. Further, reputable supermarkets avoid buying food from substandard suppliers. Limit consumption of highly processed foods. They may contain many additives or contaminants from plastic packaging, such as phthalates and perfluoroalkyl and polyfluoroalkyl substances, PFAS, which are harmful to human health. Always wash raw foods thoroughly before cooking, which will remove any residual pesticides remaining on the surface. When preparing and storing food, use safe containers and tools made of non-toxic materials such as clay, glass, high-quality stainless steel, ceramics, or natural materials. If plastic containers are used, ensure that they are certified as food grade. Check for this sign. Smaller fish are preferred when choosing fish, since larger fish are more likely to contain mercury unless they are tested and certified. Diversify diets to avoid exposure from a single source. Long-term consumption of the same food increases the risk of excessive exposure if the food is contaminated. For instance, eating larger fish frequently increases the risk of getting high levels of mercury. Avoid eating dubious foods. That is, foods in swollen cans, foods with objectionable odor or color, or perishable foods that are not kept at the proper temperature. Consuming organic food wherever possible will reduce the risk of exposure to harmful substances. We talked about all the categories of disease-causing agents that can enter your body through food. Among these food-borne pathogenic agents, the most commonly observed ones are viral especially in children. Bacterial at any age. Toxins, both acute and chronic, and parasites that can occur at any age, but are common in children. We shall now explore the symptoms of food poisoning. The most typical symptoms include abdominal pain, diarrhea, and vomiting. In more severe situations, fever and headache are observed. An approximate understanding of the disease-causing agent can be determined by looking at the onset of symptoms. The symptoms of chemical or toxin-related poisoning might appear anywhere from a few minutes to a few hours after the food is consumed. Bacterial, about 2 hours to many days. Salmonella in about 2 hours, and Listeria takes many days. Viral, about 6 hours to many days. Norovirus in about 6 hours and Hepatitis A in many days. Parasitic, about 2 days to 2 weeks. Giardia in about 2 days, and Cryptosporidium 2 weeks. Fungal, a few hours to many days. Amanita in a few hours, and ergotism takes many days. To put it briefly, signs of chemical or toxin poisoning appear somewhat rapidly, but symptoms of biological poisoning take longer to manifest. Finally, we will look at the legislation about hygiene to ensure food safety. Any law about food hygiene shall cover the following areas of concern. That's, the hygiene of food establishments, storage and distribution, food handling and handlers and sales points. This particular regulation, known as the Food Hygiene Regulations, was published in 2011 under Sri Lanka's Food Act. This addresses every facet of food hygiene to ensure food safety. Before winding up, let's summarize what we discussed in this video. We discussed agents that cause foodborne illnesses and how to protect yourself from them. What illnesses are transmitted through food and water, and their signs and symptoms. How can food be protected from these pathogens? The obligations of governments, food manufacturers, and consumers to maintain food safety. What regulations are there to protect food from different types of contamination? Here are some additional videos on human nutrition available through this channel. If you find these videos helpful, you can subscribe and click the bell icon to receive notifications when new videos on various topics are posted on this channel. Thank you.